Screw it. I don't feel like waiting. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monkey in the Morning. I'm your host, the Ranting Monkey. It is Sunday. I actually know the day today. Don't ask me why. It's not important. But how are you? Hope you're well. I am sore as shit. Really, really tired. And I figured this would be a great time to turn on the microphone and start talking about shit I've barely been paying attention to. How are you guys? We had family come into town a bit unexpectedly, and my in-laws were here. It was a good visit and everything, but we went out a lot to do things, and I am not a go out and do things kind of guy. I'm not in go out and do things kind of shape, if you get my meaning. I'm fat, old, and cripple, and convincing people of that. But I'm good. I'm just sore. It'll pass. And we're here to talk about the world around us. I'm doing better than that guy who set himself on fire. What is with people doing this all of a sudden so often? We just had one a few months ago, and now we have another asshole setting himself on fire. This time because did you guys read his manifesto? The dude who flambéed himself live on CNN. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen the CNN coverage of this, that lady doing the color commentary of the fucking dude flambeing himself is fucking amazing. First, she yells that we got an active shooter. And let's say she's right. She stands up to get a better look at where she thinks there's an active shooter, only to find out, no, it's a dude who set himself on fire. And then she goes on for like 5 minutes just talking nonstop, describing what she sees and smells. And it's kind of insane. It is kind of insane. I mean this in the most genuine way possible. I could not care about these people anymore. Are you talking about the guy flambeing himself? Or are you talking about Ukraine, Israel, Palestine, and who was the other one we gave money? We're giving money to Taiwan. Yeah. All for its self-correcting problem. You know, with the guy setting himself on fire, I just don't understand what you plan to achieve with that. You know, the monk way back in Vietnam who set himself on fire, did that end the war? Did anybody look at this bald weirdo in robes setting himself on fire and go, "Ooh, maybe we should stop shooting each other"? No, they went, well, that's fucking weird, and kept doing it until, the will ran out. This is my protest. It's like when people do their hunger protest. I'm not going to eat unless you give me what I want. All right, 3-year-old. I don't know. You're going to punish yourself if I don't give you your way. Well, shit, you just made my job much easier. So much easier. Oh my goodness, I forgot to turn down. I was watching an interview with the cast from Fallout. They were answering Google's most asked questions, and I forgot to turn my volume back down. Where are we here? Load up, damn it! I'm trying to do it. Thank you, Congresswoman Katie Hill. I heard we're screwing people, and I want in. Katie, calm down, sweetie. It's figurative screwing, not the kind you like. Wasn't that monk protesting the French government? Was he? I look, all I know is he did it during the Vietnam War. And remember, the only reason we got involved in Vietnam was because the fucking French, those little douchebags have been screwing us over for decades. And they stink and need to take a bath. Hi, French folks. Hope you're well. Let's talk about the headline, because this fucking story from CNN. So Mike Johnson, being, a typical Republican, gave in to the Democrats and pulled up the Ukraine bill, the Ukraine funding bill, which they also had several other bills that they passed in one package. It gives money to, and I'm not making this up, both the Israelis and the Palestinians. Now, with the Palestinians, to be fair, it's supposed to be humanitarian aid. They certainly will not spend any money on bombs because they don't have to buy food for their people. Dark Resurrect, thank you so much for that feminist $12. To my point in chat, I do not care about these people who set themselves on fire to protest, and I do not care about Congress, full stop. They do not serve us and are malicious at this point. Oh, I agree. I agree. I care about them for the same reason I care about anything newsworthy, and especially when it comes to our government. These idiots control my life, whether I like it or not. It's just the way it is. And yeah, fuck. I I wish we had better people in Congress. I do. I wish we had people who were up there who actually cared about this country and not everywhere else. You know, in this article that we're about to read, this is the reason we're even talking about this, other than just a quick mention. This article says, bypassing Ukraine aid, the accidental speaker became an unlikely Churchill. They're comparing this man to Churchill. And this comes from a quote from some other fucking Republican who said, in this situation, you have to ask yourself, are you Chamberlain or Churchill? And I'm like, aren't you putting a little bit too much stank on this, really? Just a little too much importance. How come it's not, are you Kennedy or Johnson? That's a much closer analogy. Are you Kennedy or Johnson? And if you don't get that reference, that is a Vietnam reference. That is the escalation that happens after Kennedy dies, is when the Vietnam War really blows up. And you can even do it, are you Eisenhower or Kennedy? And no, are you Chamberlain or Churchill? Mike Johnson is neither of those men. We talked not that long ago about Chamberlain. Chamberlain gets a really bad rap. And both men were, believe it or not, probably the right man for the job at the time they had it. Johnson is a dude who's like, what was he like? Their eighth choice. They were finally like, fuck it, we'll give him the job because, yeah, we can't agree on anybody. Get that milquetoast motherfucker over there. Evolved Potato, thank you. Something that's kind of interesting and a lot of Americans don't know is that the U.S. has to fund Taiwan's defense. I mean, they legally have to do it. I think it's from the Taiwan Relations Act or some other bill from around that time. I would have to look into that. I'm not opposed to helping some of our allies. I'm really not. But when we're literally funding both sides in the shit going on over in Gaza, that we have to start questioning that, right? And with Taiwan, I mean, there's ways around it. There really are. Uh, we do technically subscribe to the one China policy. But when it comes to Ukraine, there's just no good reason for us giving any funding to them. None. And you guys will be happy to know, because I know you were worried, that we have once again made them the third most spent on military in the world. With Ukraine's reported 40 billion that they spend, and the 60 billion we're giving them, puts them up over $100 million for their military budget again. And that makes them third behind us and China. That puts them above, what, 194 other countries? How many countries are in the world right now? I forget. It's been a while since I looked at the exact number. But they're definitely in the top 10. And they're in the top 10 with their $40 billion. And we threw that much plus an additional half for 60 billion on top of it to make but they just need our money. They're running out of the bullets. I think it's in this article, they say that the Ukrainians have actually started to have to ration bullets. You mean they can't blind fire? They need to actually make sure they're firing what they want to hit? Well, that sucks. They can't just spray and pray like you do in a video game. Poor bastards. Poor bastards. But yeah, this is fun. How much money would we save if we stopped funding everything around the world? I think it's something, especially with these new things, I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $200 or $300 billion. I don't have the exact figure on me. It's not as much as people think. Um, you look at our budget and we're spending trillions of dollars, and you'll often hear, we're spending $1 trillion and we're giving all this money to other countries. I think in a normal year, take away the Ukrainian stuff, the increase that we've done for Israel here. I think we're normally at, I want to say 50 or 60 billion. Is it take us out of any wartime stuff going on? We give a billion here, a billion there. We usually don't give that much to people. It's just cumulative that it's such a large amount. But with this bill, what is 96 billion? I think it is for this one, for 60 billion going to Ukraine and the rest split between the others that were mentioned. It's a ridiculous amount of money we're spending. Just a ridiculous amount. And this is at a time when Americans can't buy fucking food. And these assholes are like, what we really need to do is take a whole bunch of money we don't have and give it to Ukraine so that Russia won't invade Poland in a decade or whenever it's supposed to happen if Ukraine falls. Their newest one, I saw this today. I think it's even in this article. The dude who's like, you got to be Chamberlain or Churchill. He said that if Russia wins where they are now, they'll just take over all of Ukraine. Why don't we test that theory? How about we have them sit down to actual peace negotiations and actually work something out, and then see if Russia turns out to be like Hamas and just goes and attacks again. Let's see. I mean, it could happen. They've given no indication that they will. And even if they do, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't give much of a shit. I know we're not supposed to be like, there's innocent people dying in a war. Shocking. It's only happened in every war ever. I can't believe that there's innocent people dying in a war. Fuck. I better give them more of my money. It's okay. I like ramen. I just don't give a shit. It's not my business. These fuckers, Ukraine, you want something from me? I want something from you then. I need something from you. What are we getting from you? Now, we kind of know what we're getting from them. We're not allowed to talk about it. But it's something we could get from, less shitty people. But when you're doing, secret labs that nobody's supposed to know about, maybe having a corrupt government in place to, keep your secrets for you is helpful. I'm just throwing that out there as a what if, as a hypothetical. I would never suggest that the U.S. has actually been caught doing this after we were told it wasn't happening. But I don't need that to happen. I really don't. So what do we get out of it? Tell you what, how about this? If you guys want my money and you want Russia out of the Donbass region, sell me the Donbass region. Sell it to me for, I don't know, let's say $200 billion. $200 billion, we get that stretch right there by the Black Sea. How about that? It'll be a nice buffer for you guys from Russia. They won't fuck with you no more, I promise. Granted, you lose all that space too, because we will take it. This isn't a wink, wink. It's ours. It will be ours. I will move Americans in tomorrow. So, if you're gonna want my money, I want something for it. Zelensky's a little bitch ass. He could do a podcast every day. He ain't doing nothing else. Motherfucker, make a podcast over there on Twitch. People will toss you money and you won't have to beg my government for it. Here's the real question. You guys ready? How long till that little motherfucker comes with his hand out again? How long before that corrupt piece of shit comes back going, I need money from the Americans to keep everybody safe in my country? I don't know why he sounds like that. I can't do many accents, so you guys get what you get. But here's my guess. 5 months. I'm going to go 5 months. I see 2 months in chat. Dark, after all of this and the trouble they had getting this push, how come Ukraine hasn't fallen? We were told months and months ago that if this wasn't done immediately, the Russians were going to overtake them. But it was also at the same time they were trying to push the law of the counteroffensive, or the lie of the counteroffensive, which turned out to be fucking beautiful. Well done, Ukraine, with your counteroffensive. We're basically just paying protection money at this point. Well frosted, if you listen to the way that they say it. Yeah, absolutely. Congress secured the border. Yay, not ours. They didn't even secure any of the other borders. Ukraine is still going to get the shit kicked out of them. They really are. Us giving them a few more bullets isn't going to change anything. They're running out of military-aged men. And this was one of the things they said about, Russia, when they were trying to convince us that the Russians just couldn't take the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians, they're going to fight back because the Russians don't even have military-aged men who are willing to fight. They don't seem to be the ones running out of military-aged men. But now we have to. Because, hey, if we don't give it to them today. Oh, you're not giving it to them today. If we don't give it to them today. Oh, shit. They're still not today, huh? If we don't give it to them sometime in this 6-month period, then they're going to fall. It's a good thing we did it today, too, because I'm pretty sure tomorrow would have been the time they actually did fall if we didn't give them all our fucking money. Anyhow. I'm so tired of this shit. I'm so tired of our Congress doing this to us. And this passed with bipartisan support. The Democrats, of course, supported it because they want to give Biden a win, which this does give Biden a political win. Johnson, for some, I keep seeing articles, because I've read maybe 3 or 4 articles about this today, and every one of them told me that Johnson went with the Reagan wing of the Republicans. The Reagan wing. Reagan was president during the Cold War, okay? We're not talking about fighting the spread of communism here. Reagan, if you guys want to talk about what Reagan would really do these days, he'd probably have another House Un-Americans Activity Committee formed in the Senate. He would be looking at communism in his own country rather than the now not communist shitbag. And look, I'm not defending Putin. He's a shitbag. I just don't think you can put that on communism with him, because we're not defending Ukraine from communism over there. We're not. He's a totalitarian dickhead. I don't give a shit. I really don't. Stop comparing this to Reagan and the Cold War, because it's not the same. No, it's just like that. All we need is Rocky and Ivan again, and we can get this all figured out. This is some stupid shit. It really is. These traitors waved Ukrainian flags in our house. Dark, man, these motherfuckers wear the Ukrainian flag on their lapel pins. Without the look, it's bad enough when they wear the double one that's got the United States one and then the Ukrainian one at the same fucking level. But these assholes will run around with just the Ukrainian one. You're not their Congress people. I'm the one that has to pay your fucking salary so you can give my money to them. Why are Americans so mad at politicians? I can't take much more of that shit. But I mean, like I said, this asshole, he's going to be back 6 months max with his little hat out going, I need the money. Get a job, bitch. Stop spending 2% of your GDP. That's what they spend. By the way, we spend 3.9% of our GDP on military spending. This country that's at war spends 2% of theirs. 2. That's it. 2. Huh. Good thing we're paying for it, because otherwise they might have to carry their own fucking water. Anyway, do you realize if they got their military spending up to our levels, and I'm not talking about how much we spend dollar for dollar, I'm talking about just as a percentage of GDP, they wouldn't need our $60 billion. If they're spending $40 billion and that's 2% of their GDP, you double that, that's $80 billion right there. It's a little short of the $100 billion that they want with my money, but they'd be very close. But no, 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 we can't do that. We gotta pay all these guys, and Zelensky's got to slip some off to the Caymans. We can't be spending that money on military. We need you guys to do it for us. We need you guys to, yeah. I mean, please, please, pretty please. My wife needs to have the latest Paris fashions. I can't have the first lady married to an actor looking like a hillbilly hoe. We got to have her dressed to the nines, except for very specific photo opportunities. Um, Johnson's a rhino. Fuck the uniform. We got to talk about rhino for a minute. Because I think it's time we accept that they're not rhinos. They're just Republicans. It's what Republicans are. It's just what they are. I mean, look at Marjorie Taylor Greene because she's out there beating her chest. She's like, I'll pull the trigger and we'll have the motion to vacate. If you do this, we're gonna. And then, he basically called her bluff, and she's like, well, I'm still really mad about it. Uh, None of them really seem. The few that seem to actually have a backbone will sell it out in a heartbeat. I mean, we've seen it over and over again. But the few that do have a backbone, they're the minority. You'd almost have to call them rhinos these days. They're the Republicans in name only, because if you look at the actual Republican Party, most of them are all the same. And at some point, that becomes what the Republicans are. That's who they are. They're not rhinos. They're Republicans. You're Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz is a rhino. Rand Paul is a rhino. And it's not big. And I'm not saying that as an insult to them. I'm saying, like, Rand Paul, especially, if you look at this guy, this is a man of principle. And while he'll sometimes vote in ways that I don't want him to, he always says, this is what has to happen if I'm going to vote that way. And if he doesn't get it, then all right, I'm not voting that way. That makes him an exceptional person as a Republican and as a senator. Wouldn't you sell out for 10 million? It depends. Am I getting it myself, or is it going to my district? If it's going to me, then yeah. If it's going to my district, nah, because I prefer the long-term job. You know what I mean? And they never get it. They never get it. But this is why they get kicked out. Johnson had not a major majority. He had a decent majority when, well, I guess McCarthy, when the Republicans take over, and so many have dropped out and left that they're down to two. Their majority is a two right now, which I really don't get. I don't understand why the Democrats aren't happy to have these people in power, because they basically do what they want anyway. So yeah, I don't think we can call them rhinos anymore. That's just what Republicans are. And it's the people at home who have principles, who I don't want to necessarily say have principles, because it's been my experience most voters are as tribal as the others are. It's the people at home who haven't caught up yet. Dark Resurrect, thank you for that feminist $12. Sargon and Dankula have said this about the UK, right? And it applies here. They are just the left driving the speed limit. I've heard that about our politicians too. I couldn't tell you who I heard say it, but yeah, I wouldn't even say that they're the left driving the speed limit. They're going a little over the speed limit too, just a little bit. They're not going. See, here in Michigan, you can drive. Okay, don't tell the cops I told you this. But if the speed limit says like 75, if you're going 79 and you pass a cop, they won't stop you. They're waiting for the guy doing 85, right? So the Republicans, they're doing that 79. They're going 4 over the speed limit. They're not going that 5. They're not going 10. Meanwhile, the Democrats think they're on the fucking Autobahn back in the. Did the Autobahn ever get a fucking speed limit? Or Montana didn't have them there for a long time. Does Montana still have no speed limits? A handful of Republicans aren't playing ball, but that is pathetic. Yeah, I mean, at this point, that's what Republicans are, man. That's just what they are. Anyhow, before I was getting everything ready, I've been trying to do this show since about midnight tonight, and for various reasons it didn't happen. And Jack sent me a video. I was hoping he was going to come. He's probably asleep right now, but he sent a video, and I'm kind of interested to watch it. It's Ben Shapiro talking about Andrew Tate. And I can't think of any other news that I care enough about that it would supersede little Ben Shapiro talking about Andrew Tate. So I haven't watched this yet. And the Autobahn has a speed limit. It's called a wall. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm very curious to hear Ben Shapiro's take on this. Is called Andrew Tate, the Great Hoax, which I feel like me and Ben are going to be on the same page, but let's see what happens. Let's see.
Let's go through Andrew Tate's history a little bit here, because when he is talking.
Holy shit, do I still have this on sped up? Jesus Christ, Ben, you talk like a Michigander. I thought I had this on like 2x speed there for a minute. Fuck me. All right, I got to really pay attention. It also might mean we have to rewind more than we normally do, because trying to pause this dude speaking so fast is going to be an issue. Has he always spoke this quickly? Dear Lord. Take a breath, homie.
Let's go through Andrew Tate's history a little bit here, because when he is talking to somebody of right-wing bent, he pretends to be sort of a traditionalist on matters of family and sex. And
true. And it's not just that. He'll do it for some politics too. Andrew Tate, look, I think Andrew Tate is a douchebag. I think he's probably going to prison for quite a while over there in Uzbekistan, or where the fuck he's at. Where's it? All that's coming to mind is Ukraine, and I know that's not right. Fuck, wherever he's at. But he is very good at selling himself. I'll give you that. He's he knows his audience, and that goes not just for the Romania. Thank you guys. Not just for his main audience, but like when he goes to a talk show, if he's going to one that's watched mostly by young men, that's where he would tell his stories about being a pimp and hoeing them bitches out and slapping a bitch up. If he goes to a more traditional show where they talk politics and culture, he switches to a more rational character, a more a less douchey guy. And so Ben pointing out that when he's talking he does this with everybody. He can work an audience. But anyway.
And then immediately he'll turn around and he'll tweet something like this, and then we're all supposed to ignore it.
Okay, I don't know if he's going to read this. It says the most unlikable men are incompetent. The most unlikable female is arrogant. Incompetent females are fine. Arrogant men are fine. Nothing worse than a man who can't do shit, or a female who knows it all. Now, this is one where I responded to Andrew. Andrew did not respond to me. And I asked, when you have a pretty man in you, is it okay for them to be arrogant? I was just trying to figure out the rules.
If you're on the right, or say that he's being ironical or something like that. But the reality is...
Did you say ironical? I don't think... Is ironical a word? I'm not sure it is.
This dude has made a lot of money over a lot of time by scamming people. So he started by making a lot of money off the sex industry. There's a person who says that he now stands for virtue. And
I mean, that's where he made his big money. But just to be fair to Andrew did start as a kickboxer. He rose to fame really because nobody pays attention to kickboxing. The kickboxing, I mean, they make less money than WNBA players. So, ironical is a word. I don't believe you. You might even be right, but okay. Now I have to look that up. Ironical. Pertaining to, of the nature of, exhibiting, or characterized by irony or mockery. Why not just say he's being ironic. You don't need to add the Cole. See, that's a British word. It's got to be because it has more letters than it needs to get the fucking point across.
And for the manly virtues, can I tell you something that's not manly? Grooming women to get naked on camera for you to make money off of.
I mean, it is manly. Not a good man, you know what I mean? So we got to be careful what we're saying about manly there. I mean, as far as I know, most pimps are men. Very few of them would you even look at and go, that's a manly dude, because they, dress like they shop at Goodwill. I still love that joke from I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. But this is what you can't do. It's what you can't do here, Ben. You can't pretend that something that is associated with men isn't. Just because even most of us men would look down on that kind of behavior, you don't get it then classified as not manly. It's douchey, and you can say that. It's not manly. Pimping hoes. It kind of is. I mean, it's associated with men. Not all men. Hashtag not all. Not most. But I mean, a lot of guys fart and think it's funny well into their 90s, and that's not manly, in my opinion. It's kind of childish, but it's what men do. Ghislaine Maxwell was ironical manly. Stop it.
The ideal of masculinity is not being a pimp. Andrew Tate was.
We're not. Okay, no. You can't do that either. The ideal of manly. To who? To who? Okay, listen to me here, Ben. When Andrew Tate is coming up, when he's getting his big audience, it's as he's being pitched. And look, I don't want to be defending Andrew Tate here, okay? But there's a whole lot of young men that resonated with. They looked up to it. Now, you can argue it shouldn't be that way, but the fact of the matter is it is. It's just the way it is. But anyway.
Is a pimp. Not 10 years ago, very, very recently.
People always say pimp as if it's a negative thing, but I think a pimp is a very positive. I don't think they're bad people.
As recently as 3 years ago, he was pimping women out on webcam while simultaneously declaring that young men are wasting their time and their virility on pornography.
Yeah, it's one of my biggest problems with Tate. He talks about how, women will take advantage of you. And he tells a story about how he'd have his hose on the camera pretending to type to these guys on a keyboard, but it was actually him behind the scenes doing it. And he tells of these people that they'd be like, hey, I need some money for this, or I can't come see, or I need money for a plane ticket. And the guy was sending money for a plane ticket. And they say, oh, I couldn't go, even though she already got the money. He literally tells stories about scamming men. He's a piece of shit. He is a douchebag. Sammy, it's your birthday, and this is for you. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sammy. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Sammy. I hope you have a good one. Do you realize that makes you the meat of a Satsu Sammy monkey sandwich? Because Satsu's birthday was yesterday, yours is today, and mine is tomorrow. Happy birthday. I hope you have a good one. I really, really do. Sorry for putting that thought in your head.
Free, which is why I don't run a webcam business where I pimp out women who I get into the business by having sex with, which was Andrew Tate's entire method. Here he was explicating.
Well, that's how all pimps do it, really. I mean, they tend to find the hose and bang them and turn them out. And it's not okay. You got two kinds, right? You have the dude who goes and finds the street hoe and brings him into her business. And then you have the one who turns out the women, or a combination. I know way too much about pimps. I blame HBO, honestly. And God damn it, Frosted. I read what you just said as I was trying to finish this thought, and now I'm fucked. Anyway, I get what Ben's doing here. He's going for, you know, outrage, like they should be mad about this. He's a douchebag. He's a douchebag. And questioning his man, you want to question his masculinity, question him about, you know, banging guys that he thinks look like good looking women instead of ugly women who actually have the vaginas. That's where I question his manhood. Oh, and of course, you know, taking women's passports so they couldn't leave as part of his whole thing.
Hitting his method in 2020.
So yeah, on corporatate.com, I have my PhD program, and that.
By the way, Andrew says that the PhD program all this that my website, we were never associated. Oh wait, yeah, it was shit. I don't know.
That is PhD is a pimp and hose degree that I'm.
He's so proud of himself for that. Andrew, listen to me. I know you won't. That is really stupid. It's like those guys way back when I was a kid, and you know what FBI stands for? Gentlemen in the chat, do you know what FBI stands for?
Clever.
And
Clever.
That teaches basically how I got girls.
What a class act.
How I met girls, how I got girls to like me, how I got girls to fall in love with me to work on webcam for me. Because that's what I did. That was my MO, was find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me.
And it's shit like that when this goes to trial over there in Romania, he's gonna get in trouble for. This is what I've said all along with the Andrew Tate stuff. Once I knew what all the charges were, the motherfucker has admitted to all of it on camera. And he can come back and go, I was just playing a character. I was just trying to sound tougher than I am, or make people think I acted that way because it was selling. Okay, you can try that. But the fact of the matter is, you bragged about it over and over, and everything that you're accused of, minus the rape, which that's there's some questionable things he said there too, but everything else, we'll put that one aside. Everything else, this motherfucker has admitted to on camera, and not just once.
And that's how I got.
What he just described there is what's on your screen there. It says lover boy method, because that's what he's charged with, is human trafficking using the lover boy method. And he makes a big deal of this. They say I use the lover boy method. You mean the thing you described to people? The thing that you said you did? Weird. I wonder where they got the idea that you did that.
Rich. I was all about trying to get paid. Like I used sex as a tool to make women love me so they'd obey me and live in my house to make me money. That's what I wanted. So I was a pimp in that sense. Like I was not trying to have sex with women. I was trying to get women to obey me. And I realized that's easier if they like to have sex with me. If they
Did you hear that, guys? If you want bitches to obey you, make them want to have sex with you. Roofies make women obey you.
don't like having sex with me, it's pretty hard to make them listen to me.
There's the shtick. And so for a lot of young men who fantasize about having sex with good-looking women, this sounds amazing. Also, it makes you a complete piece of human debris.
The bigger problem there, I mean, Ben's right about that. But the bigger problem there is this doesn't work for most guys. This is the problem with the lack of fathers in the home. God bless. So many of these guys think acting like a douchebag like Andrew Tate is going to work for them. You know why it works for Tate? Honestly, money. He goes after young women who are naive and see the flashy lifestyle. Why do you think all of these fucking assholes who preach their dating shit, every one of them has pictures of them with nice cars and hot women? It's so that they can show these women, go, look, I'm very rich and I'm very famous, and you want to be banging a rich famous guy, right? The problem is not everybody can pull that off. You really can't. And it's a superficial thing that doesn't last. Now, look, hashtag, this won't work. That wouldn't work on all women, even for Andrew. That's why anytime one of these guys like, I could even take your woman. No, you couldn't. You can take easy hoes. That's what you can take. You can take women with daddy issues and gold digging whores. That's what you can get. And that's why you think all women are gold digging whores, because that's what you can pick up. He's athletic. Athletic probably helps too. Not as much as you might think. Again, with very superficial chicks, sure, which is the kind that he goes for.
It makes you garbage if you act like this with regard to women, no matter how much sex you're having with randos off the Instagrams. And now, of course, he has moved beyond this because he got arrested for a bunch of stuff related to his webcam business, and he runs Hustlers University.
Wait, homie. You said that wrong, Ben. He got arrested for exactly what he said he did. I feel like that needs to be pointed out every time this is brought up. He has said it over and over and over again. That cannot be glossed over the way that the Tate hoods want you to.
Which is where you learn. So before, you learned from him in his pimping hose degree. You learned how to make lots of money without actually doing any work by having sex with women and then convincing them to take off their clothes for the prurient.
Hey, he did work. He talked dirty with men. I want y'all to think about that. When Andrew Tate talks about how he ran the keyboard for the girls, he was sexting the guys. I'm just throwing that out there. Kind of puts that whole banging a hot tranny kind of thing into perspective, don't it? You think maybe he got indoctrinated by that? You think Andrew used to like vagina, but he talked to so many guys about sucking their dick that he decided to do it? I'm betting that's what happened. I'm betting he was like, I've made that sound so tasty. I need to come here, Tristan.
Interests of other men on the internet. Well, now he's moved on to bigger and better things. Hustlers University, where he promises he's going to teach you how to make tons of money. All you have to do is pay him $50 a month, and he's going to teach you how, just like marriage is a scam, and he's going to help you see through it by taking the red pill. It turns out that all of industry can be cracked by going on Hustlers University, where he will teach you all the money-making secrets. Now, the reality is that there is no actual, quote-unquote, secret to making money.
Actually, the secret to making money is spending money, believe it or not, in various different ways. But yeah, the old adage, you have to spend money to make money, is probably the only actually true thing. Everything else is situational. Casual killing spree. Welcome to the apocalypse. Thank you so much. How many dick pics did he get is the question. Probably a lot. The real question is, how many does he still have? The answer is all of them. All of them.
If you want to make...
Yes, Sultan, spending money in the right way. That is how you make money. You need a good idea. You need something that's going to sell. But I was going to say, even the only way you could do it is if like you were right or something. But even then, you have to get yourself a computer and a program to write on. And that's the way you do it. Going into business.
Make a lot of money in this life, you have to do 3 things. Okay, that's it. You want to make a lot of money in this life. Find the thing that you like to do, the thing that people are willing to pay you for, and the thing that you are good at. If you find those 3 things, you will end up making a lot of money.
Actually, yes, but you don't even need all 3 of those. Like, lots of people make a lot of money doing things they don't like to do. They're just good at it. So, Ben, be careful with your advice. You are not an economist.
Find 2 of those 3 things. You might be happy without making a lot of money, or you might be unhappy without making a lot of money. But that's it. Okay, you have to find something you like to do, something you're good at, meaning you have to develop an actual skill set, which requires time and attention and investment. And
well, I mean, that's what Andrew did with Pimpin' Hose. He seemed to enjoy it. He was good at it, and he made a lot of money.
And real focus on detail.
Is that what Ben's getting at here? Is that he needs to get away from Hustlers University and go back to his Pimpin' Hose degrees? You also need to get lucky. Not necessarily. A lot of times when we talk about making money, we're talking about making a lot of money, and you don't need a lot of money to survive. Now, I realize inflation, all that, yeah, but when we talk about making money, you're talking about, he made $1 million. Lots of people never get close to $1 million a year, and they live perfectly happy lives without worrying too much about money. You don't have to get lucky. You need to be in a good market. There needs to be a market for what you're doing. Because the first thing Ben says there, right, is something people are willing to pay you for. You can make a decent living doing a whole lot of things that you don't need any luck for. You just need to really buckle down. So I get what you're saying about potato, and there are, especially like in a business like mine, doing this kind of thing, you need some luck. You really do. But the secret is to show up. Again, show up at the right time. Show up to do the right thing. Show up to work.
And you have to find something people want from you. So it can't just be making mud pies in the backyard. It has to be something that appeals to other human beings who want to pay you for that thing.
Pimp and hoe.
Which can be difficult too. You have to find a market, right? There is no dirty secret to making a lot of money quick. Okay, this is Andrew Tate's equivalent of, hey guys, have you ever heard about the day trading? We'll get to more on this in just.
And it's actually not the day trade. Don't they? Isn't it drop shipping or some stupid shit like that the Tates push? That's what most of the online get rich quick things is, drop shipping. If you don't know what it is, look it up. It's you basically you become an online retailer. Making a living and making a lot of money are different. Not necessarily. Define a lot of money. What is a lot of money? He talks really fast, Kevin. He actually speaks a little too fast.
So often is because part of his get rich quick scheme for people is that they have incentive structures so that you tweet out videos or send out videos on social media about how wonderful Andrew Tate is.
The program he runs is called Hustleversity, where he teaches you how to make fast money if you'll only pay $50 a month. And one of these fast money methods turns out to be selling Hustleversity to new people by posting clips of him, Andrew Tate. And because of this, it kind of created this pyramid scheme where there was a flood of TikTok videos and biased reviews saying that Andrew Tate is the one true savior that will save you from poverty. He's basically more.
Okay, if this is what, Ben, you disappointed me. You bored me with your video. I like CoffeeZilla. I watched that original video. Ben's main point here seems to be that Andrew Tate is a lying shitbag, which is true. It's absolutely true. When Ben rapped, he actually had to slow down. He did, yeah, in the Tom McDonald song. Multiple things, and it's not sold as a get rich quick scheme. The angle is to introduce you to things. I've watched CoffeeZilla's thing on this, and it's let's not pretend he's not selling a get rich quick scheme. Maybe you can take the quick out of there, but he doesn't tell you, hey, if you follow my plan in 10 years, you might be able to afford a new house. You might be able to afford your own apartment. No, he sells it as, hey, if you do this, you'll be as rich as me. Look, I got a car that I rented. So, I mean, let's be honest about it, shall we? But as for the different things, I don't know what all they are. I know I saw a list somewhere. It might have even been in the CoffeeZilla video. But here, okay. A lot of these courses, whether it's the Tate ones or any others, there's validity to them. There's people who've made a shit ton of money doing drop shipping. But it's not something that everybody can do. It's not something that everybody has the patience for. It's not something everybody has the money for, because it does take some investment, because you have to advertise it. You can't just start drop shipping and people are going to show up. You have to actually have some advertising out there. This is what I was talking about before. The way you make money is by spending money. And that's not to say that these are good programs. They're stuff that you can go learn, and you can kind of make a living off of them. But that's never how these guys present it. So he's like, if you do this, you'll be as rich. Look, I have a brand new retardy car, and you could have one. Look at this hoe that I hired for the day. Me and her have been tight since 3:30 when she showed up asking for money so that we would do this shoot in her bathing suit. They always present, look, it's a sales pitch. It's what it is. And yeah, you actually can make money. I'm not going to say on Andrews, but with some of these. But the odds of you making enough to make it worth it rather than go working at Walmart, not real good, honestly. Really not that good. All right, what else do we have on the agenda today? Ben Ben, you're the wrong person to go after Andrew Tate. You're too milquetoast for that shit. Stay in your lane, bro. I'm going to tell you what I tell Phil DeFranco. Stay in your lane. You go over there and boringly talk about politics without ever swearing, and I will be over here making fun of Andrew Tate. Okay? That's just the way it is. It'll be better for everyone involved. How dare I tell Ben Shapiro what to do? All right, moving along. He's really not cut out for that kind of stuff. You gotta be kind of a dick, honestly. I make money by showing up. Other volunteer for extra work, but I do what they pay me for, or I'm guessing pay me for. When it's extra, it's because they put me in, but most don't show up every day. Most try to not do stuff. My secret at work was always learn. Do what you're paid to do and learn more. That's how I got ahead in every job I ever had without even trying. And it wasn't that I did it on purpose. I'm just naturally inquisitive and want to know how to do more things. I get bored very easily. Yeah, let's talk about this. This is a post from the 19th, so 2 days ago now. It's from a games journalist. This chick works for, is it Radar Online? Hang on. It should say here. The Verge. Sorry, The Verge. She's the video game reporter for The Verge, and she said this. I just want the aspiring games journos / freelancers to know. We all know each other and we all speak to each other. You may be able to get away with being an asshole for a time, but it will eventually get out, especially if it's chronic or egregious assholery. This is a threat, right? I'm not wrong in that, right? You guys better toe the line. You better toe the line. And this is another games journo, or claims to be. They're a party game designer, shitpost historian, writer, gaming himbo. Fuck off. That's way too many things. The other side of this coin is we all want aspiring journos to succeed too. We're rooting for each other because it's so hard out here. Have you tried learning to play video games? I'm just throwing that out there. The actress who plays Lucy in the new Fallout show, not a gamer, but when she, not a hardcore gamer, she's up for this role. She knows what she does. She goes out and plays Fallout 4 from start to finish. How many of you games journos did that? I'm very curious. When you guys wrote your review for Fallout 4, how many of you actually played the whole fucking game? But anyway, if you betray that trust and act shitty consistently, you will find yourself on an island. So admitting to corruption, nepotism, yes, they are admitting that if you don't act how we tell you to, we will ruin you. We control your fate. Look, we want you to do well, so you better agree with us. We want your business to succeed, so you better pay us that protection money. Like, why are journalists so brazen that they would write this shit in public? This is the kind of shit you should be denying you do. Be like, no, we don't do this. I destroyed the Institute for the Brotherhood. Me too. Oh, wait, which one did I destroy, guys? I don't even remember. It's been a while since I played it through. But mine's all on video, so I got proof I did it. What else do we have going on? I don't really care about that one. There's the guy who set himself on fire. That shit is funny as shit. I would show it, but I think we'd get in trouble for the flambe part, and I didn't cut the video myself. Her play-by-play is absolutely fucking amazing. You know what? You can watch it in this Breitbart article. I will throw the link in the chat for you. If you haven't seen it, and again, you do see the guy actually burning, so you know how it is. Little trigger warning: you do see a man. He doesn't die there. He dies the next day, I think it was. Man, I can't imagine going a whole day like that. Burns hurt. All right, we got to talk about a congresswoman we haven't talked about in a while because, frankly, she's too dumb for me. But this one we got to discuss. Yep, that's right. Why did he set himself on fire? He set himself on fire to bring attention to what he says is corrupt people setting it up to control us and using cryptocurrency to destroy financial markets. Anyway, Elizabeth Warren has an issue that it's deeply personal to her. Deeply personal, to the point where she made an actual fucking video about this stupid shit.
Green text on iPhones, they're ruining relationships.
Green text on iPhones are ruining relationships. All right. I know what she says next, but when I first heard this, I'm like, I couldn't have heard that right. And then she goes on to explain, oh, fuck, I did hear that right.
That's right. Non-iPhone users everywhere are being excluded from group texts.
For those of you who watch this, am I the only one who got the feeling that her granddaughter, she called her up and go, how come you didn't respond to my text? And her granddaughter went, oh, I'm sorry, Pocahontas grandma. I got a Pixel and you got the iPhone and I can't see your text.
From sports teams chats to birthday chats to vacation plan chats, they're getting cut out.
This is what one of our senators, one of the 100 senators, that's how many represent us in the Congress. This is what she's worried about. Mistext.
Missing out on plans and conversations. And who's to blame here?
I'm going to guess a corporation because it's you. But I would say probably the families, because here's the thing. Some of my family uses iPhones. The rest of us use Android phones. Mine is a Pixel. My one son, both of my sons, no, wait. Me and my youngest son have Pixels. My middle child, oldest son, has a Samsung, I believe. And my wife and daughter are both on Apple. You know what we don't have a problem with? Texting each other. We have a giant group chat that we're all in. The whole family's in. We all see all of them. So I'm guessing somebody in her family is cutting her out and blaming it on Apple. They're blaming it on Tim Scott. No, what's that guy's name? Tim, who runs Apple these days? The weird wannabe dude.
Apple. That's just one of the dirty tactics that Apple uses to keep a stranglehold on the smartphone market.
Apple controls just over, 57% of the market, something like that. Tim Cook, is that his name? Thank you. That is 57% is not a stranglehold. This bitch thinks it's 10 years ago. No one told you to get an iPhone, right? Just get a fucking go. There's tons of others.
Apple has used its monopoly.
Apple has used its monopoly. I guess monopoly doesn't mean what it used to mean, because like I said, 3 out of the 5 members of my immediate family do not use iPhones. They've used their monopoly to keep my granddaughter from texting me. I'm telling you, it's just her family not wanting to deal with her any more than the rest of us want to. And they lied to her about it to try to spare Grammy's feelings. And she's like, I'm going to get Congress involved.
On smartphones to lock Americans into services and amass billions of dollars in profits.
That's right. Apple is keeping you from talking to the rest of your family, which I don't know why you guys can't find even if this were true, you can use other chat programs besides what's built into your phone. You can use other texting programs. So, I mean, exactly, Sultan. Her granddaughter just don't want to talk to this bitch.
Apple even takes a cut every time you use Tap to Pay and has blocked a new app.
Yeah, they take a feed the same way. I don't know if you guys know this. Every time you use a credit card, the credit card company takes a cut of that. It's why if you ever go to let's say big box store, you go to Walmart or Best Buy or wherever you do your shopping, every so often you'll see a big push to get you to get their store credit card. It's because they get a bigger cut if it's their own credit card versus you swiping with your generic Visa. It's literally how they make money. Frosted Glass, thank you. Throwing gay frogs, and this is an Alex Jones rant, right? They're turning the fucking frogs gay, and my granddaughter won't text me back. That's why businesses have a credit limit. It costs them. Yeah, that's true. They take a cut of every time they use a payment service. Well, bitch, what about all the other payment services? They all take a cut. It's how they get paid, you retard. They blocked a new app that
would have let Android users finally use iMessage and get those blue texts.
I give less than a fuck about iMessage. I've never used it, don't want it, don't care with apps that were built into our phones. We didn't have to download them.
That's why last month, the Department of Justice sued Apple for its broad-based exclusionary conduct.
So while pedophiles are getting away and Hunter Biden is getting away with stuff, I guess that's redundant. As these people are allowed to get away with stuff, our Justice Department is out there fucking with Apple over their messaging service. Blue, I thought they were green. Frosted on an iPhone. One person's is in green and the other's in blue, the bubble that the words are in. That she's right. She just should have said blue and green both times. And by the way, I thought it's ugly, and that's another reason I wouldn't use an iPhone. I like mine, which is just black text on a white background. But when my wife sees it, yeah, it comes through as the blue and green. How is this real? Because our government has to justify why they're in Washington so fucking long when there's nothing to do. There's literally nothing to do. And so they have to make shit up. And so what they make up here, my granddaughter won't text me back. My granddaughter says she can't text me back because she uses an Android. Hey, I almost called her Susan. Elizabeth, question for you. If Apple has a monopoly, how has anybody got a device how do they have any other device except for an Apple? You do understand what monopoly means, right? This shouldn't be a problem if they had a monopoly. If they had a monopoly, everybody would have an iPhone, you silly git. What the fuck?
And that's the right thing to do. It's time to break up Apple's monopoly.
We need to break up the Apple monopoly that is not allowing you to see blue and green text bubbles on your Android. This is what our government does, guys. This is what they do. Is she accusing Apple of having a monopoly on their own service? Well, this is a form of monopoly that they used to go after Bill Gates and Microsoft back in the day. Even though there were plenty of other computers and programs and stuff, what they said is because they were the biggest, not that they were an actual monopoly. They called them a monopoly constantly, but they were the biggest and they were giving out free stuff Like, it comes with Word already installed. This is bad for consumers. It came with Word, and now I got to pay for it separately. I'd like to thank you for doing that for me, Congress, you fucking assholes. Look, guys, I'm not saying Apple's a good company. They're not. They're like most companies. They're looking to make money in the easiest way they know how. And they tend to sell an inferior product. Sorry, iPhone users. They really do. You remember that? What was it? The iPhone 6 that came out? I think it was when the 6 came out. Maybe it was the 7. And they're like, look at all these new features. And it was shit that I had on my 2-year-old Android. But they were, look, we finally gave you guys this shit Android. Aren't you cool? Apple sucks. The government sucks more. Yeah, if Apple was actually doing something illegal or something even unethical, I'd be like, yeah, this is fucked up. Somebody should look at this. Because I'm not anti-regulation. I'm anti-bad regulation. I'm anti-regulation for regulation's sake. Because the truth of the matter is some people are shitbags. And unfettered capitalism, which I am a capitalist, don't get me wrong. But I do think there should be some very limited regulation, like, say, not putting lead into children's toys. I think that's a good thing. I think that's something that should be looked at. Your granddaughter not texting you back is not a reason to bug the fucking Justice Department. Too many regs. And the problem, Kevin, is once you give leaders, I'm using that phrase very lightly, any kind of power, all they want is more. All they want is more. And that's how we got to where we are now. I saw a thing the other day. This lady was arguing with somebody about taxes and who should be able to vote. It started as an argument about women not being able to vote. And again, in all seriousness, I think women should be allowed to vote. And the people are like, well, they don't have to sign up for selectives. Or shut up. I don't care. But I do think we should go back to, if you want to vote, you should have to pay taxes. And I'm not saying file taxes, actually pay. If you get a check back from the government to where you paid a negative tax rate, you shouldn't get to vote on how tax money is spent. Because you don't have any skin in the game. And I just pointed out to her, like, over the years, because we let people who, don't have any skin in the game, that our federal deficit's up to $34 trillion. Because way back in the early 1900s, they decided, you know what government needs? We need the ability to just tax income. And through a series of, let's call it dirty, underhanded bullshit, they got the income tax passed. So you get the income tax passed, and it's very small, tiny budget, tiny budget. And now our budget is at, $5 trillion? It wasn't even $2 trillion in Clinton's last year. And over the last, his last year's in 2000. So over the last 24 years, it's more than doubled. You can't give these assholes this kind of power because all they do is take. Oh, I know. We'll give them free college. Everybody likes free college. You don't have a right to be giving everybody free college. But it's what they want, and they'll vote for me if I give it to them. Yeah, I'll have fun paying for that. My governor has decided we're going to give everybody 2 years of community college. And to pay for it, she's getting rid of the government accounting office or cutting it way back. So people can't look into the dirty shit she's doing with all that money. Yeah. Government attracts shitty people. It does. It's why I'm not quite for monarchy. Not quite. But I do think that how, like, the Queen of England, or I guess it's the King now, right? Because she finally croaked. and I don't say that disrespectful to you Brits out there, but she was a queen for a long time. But they have a power that, while technically they're kind of figureheads, they still have almost a veto power, right? I should be given a veto power over all of our government spending and taxation. And just me, not you guys. No offense, but I don't know you the way I know me. And I would be good at that job. And I'll tell you right now, 99% of what's in the budget would get cut. Just fucking cut. All right, let's see. This has been a thing for a while, but the ad keeps popping up on my fucking Twitter recently. It's for the enhanced games. Do you guys know what that is? It's kind of like the Olympics, but everybody on it is juiced out of their fucking minds. And I was watching their video for it because I don't typically click on their ads. When there's ads on Twitter, sorry, Elon, I wish you luck with Twitter, but I'm not clicking on most of your ads because they're stupid. But this one got my attention. Like, okay, I got to see. Y'all ever watch movies like fuck? I'm trying to think of a good one. None are coming to mind. But back in the 90s, you'd have these post-apocalyptic movies, and either at the very beginning or throughout the movie, they would show these little commercials of things like this, right? Where like the juiced games. And that's eventually what leads to the downfall of society, because everybody becomes these juiced up superhumans, raw. And that's all I could think of. So the Honest Olympics, yes, exactly, understatement. They're like, fuck it. Everybody can, whatever performance enhancing shit you want, do it. And we'll be fine. And look, I'm kind of okay with it. I don't think you guys should be juicing. There's some really bad side effects to doing that shit long term. But it's your fucking body. How come we gotta have it's your body, your choice on abortion and nothing else? How come when it comes to something like steroids, how come I can't go to a doctor and be like, Doc, I want to get jacked? You can cut off a child's penis or give them so many drugs that their penis never grows, and then they have to have part of their ass used to make their fake vaginas. But you can't just give me a steroid shot because I want one to get buff. You know what I mean? I mean, at what part do we say either yes or no? There has to be some limits on medical stuff, right? You can't have the government involved. Yeah, then why can't my doctor prescribe me opioids to get high on? Well, because we have to stop that. We need the government involved there. But look, these are your medical decisions. Should be between you and your doctor. My doctor agreed that I should be able to do heroin. Oh no, can't. No, we gotta override that one. You sure you don't want to kill a baby? Because we'll let you do that. Sure you don't want to mutilate a child? We got several of them waiting. We got so many. We're running out of doctors to cut off their little wieners. We got boobies lying all over from 12-year-olds. We need somebody to clean that shit up. I know, man. I just want to get I want to be able to jump a little higher. Can I get some anabolic steroids? Nah. Suddenly, it's no longer your body, your choice. Suddenly, it's no longer a medical decision between you and your doctor. Why is that? Look into TRT, Monk. May change your life. What's TRT? Testosterone replacement therapy? Do I not sound manly enough to you? I just an orange is very not that kind of juicing. Not that kind of juicing. Yeah, I've never understood why we're not allowed to just do drugs. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it at all. But if you want to, why is it my fucking business? If you're not hurting anybody, I don't give a shit. I really don't. But he'll become a drunk or a druggie or he'll do something horrible. I don't care. I really don't. As long as he's not hurting anyone else. Speaking of which, we had new rules coming down from the Biden administration on Title IX. Title IX is no longer to make sure that girls get equal funding for sports and activities. It is to make sure guys dressed as girls get equal funding to men's sports. For fuck's sake. Oh, understatement. I'm not looking to get bigger. I'm really not. I'm a big dude. Even, I mean, I do wish I still had my arm muscles, but I'm still a big guy. But yeah, so our government has decided that a rule to make sure women were getting the same funding as men in sports. That's what, or in school, basically, not just sports, but it was mostly, sporting stuff. This rule that was to make sure women were getting equality is now being used to make sure men dressed as women get equality. Because that's what we needed. That's what we have equality for men of all genders. Indeed, Frosted. That's it. We have truly reached King's dream here, right? Equality for all. Fuck. It just occurred to me as I was reading about this that because at the same day, Biden had put out something about abortion. I don't remember what it is. But the party that tells you that women's rights are literally nothing more than abortion. That's all that matters for women these days when it comes to Democrats is, look, we're going to let you kill your babies. You're going to have dongs in your face everywhere you go, even in the locker room and the bathroom, but you'll still be able to kill your babies. It's the other side, the supposed women haters who are out there going, dudes shouldn't be, beating up women or beating him in sports. Did you guys see that one high school track meet where the girls refused to participate in ring or whatever the fuck it's called? I'm not a track and field guy, so I don't know. And then they step out, and that was their turn. They did it to protest the fact that one of the teams involved had a dude. Uh-oh. Am I back? I can't tell. I don't have anything on the screen. Hang on. We'll put Megyn Kelly's thoughts on this on the screen so I can tell if I dip. There we go. I'm back. But anyway, these girls at a high school track meet, they refused to participate because one of the other schools had a dude on their team. That should have made national headlines everywhere. Adebisi said you never left. I would disagree with you based on what everybody else says. I appreciate it, but yeah, how is it that the party of women doesn't care about anything for women except for being able to negate their own responsibility if they knock one up? You know what I mean? And they're not doing it in an honest way. They're like, yeah, we should have abortion so that I don't have to, pay my intern for the rest of her life. Instead, they're like, yes, this is for women. I need you to have that abortion because I believe in women's rights. We need you guys to take the penises out of our locker rooms. Shut up, bitch. Nobody wants to hear from you. Can we use the same argument? Oh, I wonder. You know how they say if you don't have a uterus, you can't speak on abortion? If you don't have a penis, are you allowed to speak on trans issues, on trans women? Should all the bitches shut up and let the men have this conversation? I'm curious. I'm going to start saying that anytime I see a woman who's out there like, I stand for trans rights. Like, shut the fuck up. If you ain't got a penis, you can't talk about trans men or trans women. Got to have a penis to play. That's just the way it is. All right. If they want to get rid of sports divided by gender, fine, but don't complain when every pro athlete's. Yes, exactly. At this point, Frosted, they really should just get rid of the female category. We have one category, sports. It is egalitarian. May the best man win. And I said man on purpose. Anyway. No, it's a one-way argument. Oh, damn it. More of their hypocrisy when it comes to shit like this. I hate being tied down like that. Did you guys see Ilhan Omar's daughter got arrested? Oh, it's so beautiful. She's as ugly as her mom too. Isara Hersey. I'm an organizer at CU Apartheid Divest at Columbia SJP. In my 3 years at Bernard College, I've never been reprimanded or received any disciplinary warnings. I just received notice that I am one of 3 students suspended for standing in solidarity with Palestinians facing genocide. Yeah, you were arrested for trespassing and you got suspended for it. Lots of colleges have rules about breaking the law, and you broke the law. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, our favorite retard in Congress, and believe me, she's close to losing that title. But for right now, she still holds it. What's going on here at Bernard College, at Columbia? How does a student with no disciplinary record suddenly get a suspension less than 24 hours after a nonviolent protest? What merits asymmetric crackdown on Palestinian human rights protests? Breaking the law. You are a lawmaker. How the fuck do you not get that? How the hell do you not understand that she went from having no disciplinary record to suddenly getting one because she broke the fucking law? Do you need to have a committee meeting to suss that one out? For God's sake. Exactly, understatement, for doing things that add to your disciplinary record. When I worked at Walmart, it was in a college town. And I remember this one stop. It was a college kid that actually went to the college. And after they got arrested and taken away, I was talking with our security guy. And he goes, that person just lost their scholarship. I'm like, what? You know, she's going to get kicked out of school. I'm like, no. He goes, yeah. The students who get busted shoplifting in our store, it goes on a criminal record, and especially if they have a scholarship, they're out. It's gone. Lots of schools have those kind of rules, and people need to know that. And she only got a 3-day suspension. You'll be fine. It's college. You probably weren't even going to class anyway. You were too busy protesting at a whole different college. She goes to Bernard. What the fuck is she doing at Columbia? Anyway. That won't happen to her. No, and they didn't say it would. She'd have to do something more criminal. I mean, it was a trespassing charge that they got hit with because she doesn't go to the fucking school. She probably should have just went to her own school and did it there. This story, do I even really want to? This story pissed me off. We got to talk about abortion. Sorry, guys. I know I'm not fond of talking, but we've had to talk about it way too much lately. But don't worry, we're not going to read the whole story. I'm putting it on the screen. You guys can look it up your damn self if you want to see it. Emergency. Oh, fuck you. Why'd you put an ad on right as I put the fucking thing on the screen? Emergency rooms refuse to treat pregnant women, leaving one to miscarry in a lobby restroom. All right, I'm going to give you the lowdown on what the article says. Basically, since Dobbs, which is like more than a year old now, about 24 cases, at least according to this article, happened. Well, there's a short period. They don't give us the exact amount of time before Dobbs and then a time after Dobbs, where before Dobbs, there were about 12 instances of emergency rooms not treating pregnant women. After Dobbs, in this unspecified time period, 24 women hadn't been treated properly at a hospital. So you see, the Dobbs decision that said states can outlaw abortion if they want to, that you don't have a constitutional right to abortion. It made hospitals about this, that doctors stopped treating. There was no bad doctors, even though they tell us that about a dozen of these things happened immediately before Dobbs. Did you catch that? Before Dobbs? None of this happened until after Dobbs. It became a problem after. There's a local hospital, and by local, I mean within 100 miles of me, that had a really bad reputation a few years ago because they were doing things like amputating the wrong limbs off of people. That happened long before Dobbs. Here's the look, medical people make mistakes too. But one of the things in there is this woman went to an emergency clinic that had emergency status there. And she was told she had to drive. This was a hospital in, not Houston, some small Texas town. She was told she had to drive to Waco to have her baby. And then the article tells us this. We don't know what happened with the baby. Because they got this from fucking court records. They did a FICA request for this shit. Or sorry, FISA. Freedom of Information, FIFA. Whatever it is. The Freedom of Information Act. They did a request and they got these from government agencies that track this shit. She wasn't in any danger. She wasn't bleeding. She went to a place that didn't have an OBGYN. They had no prenatal. They had no pregnancy care. They had no birthing unit. FOIA, thank you. That's it, FOIA. And so they sent her like, hey, you got to go to the real hospital. And they're like, can you believe they did this because they're afraid of abortions? No, they did it because they didn't have a place to have babies there, you stupid shit. They went to the wrong fucking place. What they also don't tell us, like in that case, is if that was a legal immigrant or not. If it was a U.S. citizen. Maybe they were looking for the biblioteca and they ended up at the wrong hospital. Not everything, because what these are all complaints that were made about these hospitals, right? That complaint, there may be a very valid reason for it. Look, under law, if you go to a hospital, they're supposed to transport you if they can't take care of you in an emergency, and they classify labor as an emergency, which is funny because there's still people who have 30-hour labors. But in this case, we don't know if this lady needed to be there or not. And let's say that they should have transported her. It's a simple mistake. And it's one that's happened time and time again, where federal law is violated and nobody really gives a shit. But suddenly, since it's about scraping out babies, now it's an issue. They were afraid that they couldn't scrape out the baby and they'd get sued for it. No, they didn't have the fucking facilities, so they sent her to a hospital that has one. Jesus. And for the record, and believe me, I know this from personal experience, chances are she got to the hospital a lot faster driving there than if they had to wait for a fucking ambulance to take her. And it was cheaper. But yeah, oh my God, since Dobbs, medical malpractice has become a thing. You guys are fucking retards. 24 cases. It was because she had an Android phone. She didn't get the green text. I mean, 24 cases and they're acting like, oh my God, doctors just won't see women anymore. How many babies are born in the United States each year? Do you guys know? I don't know exactly. It used to be about 2 million people, 2 million a year. About 2 million babies are born a year, and they're like, 24 people. Wow, that's shit. We better have a congressional inquiry about this when they're done with Apple. How many? I haven't looked this up in a while. Are born each year in the U.S. There we go, right there. 3.6 million. It's gone up considerably since. So out of 3.66 million born last year, at least 24 women were turned away from a hospital. It's a damn shame. And look, to the person it happened to, yeah, it's fucked up. And the instance that they put in the headline there was a lady who goes into this one clinic, and it's another one where it's kind of vague exactly what happened, but she does end up having a miscarriage in their bathroom, and they had to call 911 from the clinic bathroom. And maybe that was one where they were like, "Oh, we're not sure we can." Maybe. And you know what you do there? You educate them. The hospital has admitted fault in that one, so I'm willing to believe they fucked up. But again, I want to remind you that a local hospital, to me, cut off the wrong fucking hand of a patient 2 decades ago. When Roe was still, legal. But fuck. So there's a 0.0006% chance of this happening to a pregnant woman. Yes. And remember, Frosted, that's just this happening. Like the first case I told you about, chances are that baby was born fine in the Waco hospital. So you have a 0.0006 chance of being mildly inconvenienced and having to go to the right hospital yourself, which she was driven. Her husband drove her there. So being driven by your husband instead of an ambulance. If I was a betting man, I would take those odds. Fuck. Between 250 and 440,000 Americans die each year through medical negligence. No, assassin. This shit started with dogs. Fuck, man. Are women this dumb? Women in the audience, are you guys this dumb? Do you fall for this shit? Do you look at that and go, "Oh my God, if I have a baby, they won't deliver my baby because they might have to not abort it"? Do you guys fall for that shit? Oh noes, however, did pregnant women manage before hospitals? Fair. Look, there's definitely benefits, right? I mean, if you go back, this has gone around a lot lately about the age of the founders. Have you guys seen people talk about that? Because our founders were pretty young guys. A lot of the big names, they were in their 20s. But people go, "Oh, at the time, the life expectancy was only like, I think it's 37 or 38, something like that." Well, the reason that it was at 38 is because you had a better than 50. You had about a 50% chance of dying before you were 5 back then. So, I mean, it's certainly helpful to get medical attention. But yeah, medical negligence is a big problem. You're right, PV. I'm not sure that applies in the neonatal ward. It doesn't typically. Again, we're talking about, if we believe the article, 24. That's it. That's what oh my God, can you believe this happened? I mean, you're talking about granted, it's bigger than an audience that Joe Biden can get to come to his rallies, but it's really not that many people. What's up, Addy? How you doing, man? Yeah, because of those kind of issues. When I had my first neck surgery done, it was done in that hospital where they were cutting off the wrong people's, or the wrong hands. There was one where they performed a testolectomy that's not supposed to happen. I don't know what the real word for that is. They cut off somebody's gonads that they weren't supposed to. This hospital had a problem there for about 2 years where I don't know if they were drinking before they you chose that hospital. No, I did not. Understatement. It was a workman's comp thing. And I had to go to their doctor, and their doctor he had his surgery privileges there. Imagine that, a workman's comp doctor had his privileges at a shitty hospital. It's what you get when you go to the lowest bidder. He was actually a decent doctor. Although I'm positive he left something in me. So see, after I had my first operation, I had my neck fused at 6'7", at C6, 6'7". That's the very bottom of your cervical spine before it gets to your lumbar spine, the rest of the big part of your spine. And at the time, they still took a piece of your bone out of your hip. So they take this piece of bone out of my hip, put it in my neck, sew me all back up, and send me home. And my neck healed perfect. You can barely even see the scar on my neck. The scar on my hip got nasty. It got all crusty and a little bit swollen, and it was warm to the touch. And so I go to the doctor and I'm like, there's something wrong here. And you know what they told me? They said, yeah, you have psoriasis. I'm like, no, I don't fucking have psoriasis. Oddly enough, after my body processed whatever the fuck they left in me, I'm positive they left something in there. I have never had an issue with it since. Did you guys know you can cure psoriasis by doing nothing at all? Yeah. The hip bone's connected to the C7, C8. There is no C8. Stop it. Yes, I cured. This is why I tell you guys I'm a medical marvel. I cured psoriasis. This is the same hospital that when I woke up, when I'm still fucking drugged out of my mind, right? The first thing they asked me is, did you wake up when you were having surgery? And I never thought about it. It just seemed like I'd never had surgery before. But I have this very vague memory of waking up in that room and somebody going, "Oh my God, he's awake." I didn't feel anything, so I wouldn't sue even if I knew for a fact I woke up or anything. But because like I said, I didn't feel it. But they're supposed to take me into surgery and something happened. They'd already put me out. So they put me out and it's like an hour. I think it was 3 hours later, 2 hours later. 2 hours later, they finally get me in there because it was supposed to be an hour operation. And my poor wife is freaking out. My very young wife, what was I, 26 at the time? She's in the fucking waiting room thinking I died because she was told it was going to take an hour, and 3 hours later, they hadn't come and got her yet to tell her I was okay. But yeah, I think what they did is they let me wake up, and yeah. Like I said, it was a workman's comp kind of thing. So you get what you pay for. These are the same people, the workman's comp folks, when I had that surgery, the doctor's like, yeah, you need surgery. We're all set to do it. It's like 2 weeks away, and I get a call from the workman's comp people going, we need you to see another doctor. We need a second opinion. I'm like, this is your fucking doctor. I didn't pick this guy. So they made me wait another month while I went and saw another guy who went, yeah, he needs surgery. And then another month after that before they finally got me in to get the surgery done. Ah, the joys. Now, when it came to my second surgery, that was all on me, on my insurance, my copay. That shit was beautiful. No issues whatsoever. In and out like that. Healing went very well. Yeah, so these things happen. No, Monkey, you did die in that, or our taunting you is your punishment. Yeah, that's probably what it is. I actually died on that table. Don't tell my wife. That means she's a necrophiliac, and I don't want to put that on her. Oh my God. Too much red tape, man. Look, this is why I hate people who scam workman's comp. I get the desire, but I actually still have permanent damage in that arm, and I can't say it's because it was another 2 months, but the extra 2 months didn't help. You know what I mean? It certainly didn't make it. Oh, motherfucker. I should not have moved that way. But it didn't make it any better. And because there's so many scammers out there, and I understand why they look at people for scams. I know a chick, and I'm not making this up, a small box of toilet paper fell on her in the back room at Walmart. And she took them on a ride for workman's comp for like 3 years. And then they're like, yeah, we're not giving you any more money. And suddenly she got all better. bought that far, like slipped off the shelf and it more slid off her head than fell onto it. Yeah, and it's bitches like that that made it so my surgery had to take longer. My cat's front leg snapped at the knee just this week. Oh, shit. Oh. Now he's got a pink cast and we get a dose of him every night. Well, I hope you guys had a better vet than my daughter's cat got. I got to see that cat a couple weekends ago when I was down with my daughter. It's amazing watching her run around on 3 legs. She's very agile still. The only thing that's she sat down in front of me, and because she only has the one leg, it kind of slides off to the side. So she looks like she's melting when she sits. It's cute, but it does look like the cat's melting. We need don't sue people, Panda. We need stop trying to get over Panda is what we really need, man. I'm all for suing when it's right, but too many people. Cats running around in casts is kind of hilarious. It really is. They're cute. My kitty cat, oh, she's been so loving the last few nights. The other night she pounced on me in bed. So one of the reasons that I haven't been here is just the pain, and I've been sleeping kind of a normal schedule because family stuff. And I went into bed the other night at about 1. Whenever I put the message up saying I need one more night, I went into bed. So that was 2 nights ago. And Phoebe comes in with me and she jumps up and I gave her some pets. And I always roll over onto my right side to go to sleep. And so I roll over and suddenly she pounced on me. She never pounces on me. And then she just kind of slowly walked away. It was like she was telling me to go fuck myself because I rolled over and stopped petting her. I love that cat. And she's gotten real pushy about sending me downstairs when she thinks it's time to go. Anyway, guys, I just hurt myself. I don't know if you heard that. I just twisted in my chair a little bit because I was pointed at this screen and I was twisting back to this one, and that really hurts. And I'm talking about my cat. So clearly we are done. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out. Join me tomorrow. Tomorrow should be my birthday show. I turned 49. It's the last year I'm not half a century old. Rogue Thought, thank you so very much. Thanks, sir. It's an election year. Hope we can continue to speak freely and not have government servants determine that they need to protect our democracy by limiting your speech. Love the streams. Thank you so very much. I appreciate that. I will do my best not to get myself in trouble while still expressing my thoughts as freely as I can. Look, it's the election year, so this is just a reality you guys got to listen to, okay? There's going to be streams that are Rumble exclusive, all right? Some of them are just going to have to be because there's going to be things we're going to talk about that we know we'd get in trouble for on YouTube. But it's the same show. We just occasionally have to do it over there. We won't do it very often. Maybe it's an abusive relationship kind of thing, but I still like YouTube. There's a lot of problems with it, but I still like YouTube, and their interface is still my favorite of any of them. So it's the one I use the most. But yeah, look out for those. I'll do my best to tell you guys both on Twitter and here on the YouTube side of things, because I can leave notes for you guys. But I'll do that when it happens with a link to the actual streams. So when it does happen, I'll let you know. Speaking of Rumble exclusive, I bet you can't beat my speed run, Monk. What speed run? What are we talking about there? Thank you for the donations. You guys are fucking awesome. I appreciate it. YouTube was built on your taxes. Fuck those crybabies. I ain't leaving. Fair enough. I just really do. I prefer their interface to all of them. All of the other ones look like old YouTube to me, which was trash. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for the donations. You guys take care of yourselves. I love you. And I'll see you tomorrow so we can celebrate Monkey, because that's what we really should do all the time. Take care, guys. I love you. And with that, it's time for a song, and I don't really have one in mind tonight. So let's sing about my Willie. Let's sing about my wiener. Let's sing about my Johnson. I don't know what else rhymes. Bye, guys.